Jon, thank you for coming.
Of course, thanks.
This is Jon Romero, everybody. Todd is bringing me guest after guest after guest. The last guy got your boner hard.
The last guy was a dick doctor.
Was he like a pediatric one?
No. He sold the device where it's sound wave and shock waves through your penis.
Yeah.
To make that thing harder, you can go through walls.
Well, we're here not to talk about penises here. We're here to talk about finance.
Yeah.
Jon is a finance expert, and I've always wanted to. I've never had a finance expert on the show, and probably because I'm hiding and running from my own finances. But I see TikToks all the time, and my entire feed is like, there's this one guy, he gets on there, and he's like 25 years old, and he's like, are you 50 years old and have a ton of debt? Here's 4 things you can do right now. And I'm like, oh no, it's not too late. But yeah, tell me, how did you get into the world of finance?
I kind of fell into it. Growing up, I grew up in LA. My dad did construction, 5 boys, stay-at-home mom, 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, the whole typical Latino LA story, or just anybody without money being born in any area without money.
Right.
And I was like, I want to make money. I want to have a good life. I want to take care of my parents, help out my family. I want the cars, the watches, the houses, the cars, the lifestyle, the dinners, everything. So I remember my dad taking me to the library, and they're like, well, he's going to have to get in finance somehow because those are the people who make money.
Yeah.
And this was before, we'd read encyclopedias, before internet. I'm 42, born in 82. I'm an elder millennial. Yeah. And I'm like, I got to get in this game so that way I can make money. So I started in insurance.
What's that? Is that a good business? Insurance?
Insurance is a great business, but the problem is there's so many scumbags in it, right? Like it takes a highly honorable person of honor to be able to do right by clients. And it's not even the advisor's fault, it's the company's fault. There's so much BS that goes into it that they don't tell clients, that they leave people out. Look at the fire stuff, right?
Yeah.
People are finding out, I had a trust and my trust wasn't on my insurance policy, so my insurance doesn't want to cover it.
Right.
My rebuild hadn't been done in 15 years, so I have 180 price per square foot for a rebuild when rebuild is 800 a square foot. But their insurance brokers or advisors aren't calling them and saying on an annual review, hey, it costs way more to rebuild, you need to up your policy, because what would happen is the people would say it's too expensive, I don't want it, and they would leave to go to another inexpensive one.
Yeah.
So insurance people are highly driven by money to retain clients, not to do what's best for people.
I had life insurance for a while, and I couldn't do it anymore. My ex-wife got me into it. She was just like, we got to have this. And I was like, it was so expensive. For what?
So here's the thing. If you had a good life insurance...
I got a bounty on my head.
Well, if you had a good insurance advisor, they would educate you on things you could do with it. For example, we can't tell people to do this, but it's a business.
Right.
You could sell your life insurance contract.
How?
It's called a life settlement.
Okay.
There's Warren Buffett has what's called a viatical settlement company.
Yeah.
So it's individuals that you want to sell your life insurance because you don't want to pay for it anymore. So a group of individuals, say Toddy and myself, want to buy your policy. You have $1 million policy. We'll say we'll give you $100,000 for it. And then when you die, you transfer ownership to us now. And when you die, we get $1 million tax free on the death benefit because we own your policy.
No way.
Mm-hmm. Warren Buffett has an entire industry called viatical settlements based on this. Everyone thinks, Warren Buffett's this nice, sweet old man. He has the largest company in viaticals.
What's a viatical?
A viatical is
I take
individuals.
viatical.
I took a viatical, and
doctor.
it was a really hard thing to explain. So it's an industry where people like you can sell their life insurance contracts to investors. Yeah. And then when you die, they get the death benefit because death benefit proceeds are tax free. Right. So if you get a $1 million, $2 million, $5 million tax free death benefit, say $5 million. In California, that's like $10 million asset class in someone in a 50% tax margin, a tax bracket. Right. So somebody in a 50% tax bracket gets a $5 million tax-free check from insurance company.
When the person dies.
When the person dies. But what if they get hit by a bus? What if they die of cancer? Right. What if they live for 20 years? You're still giving a small amount of money. So say you were paying $3,000 a year and we buy it for $100,000 and you live for 10 years. Yeah. Then we are $30,000 in. We gave you 100, we're 130 in. When you die, we get $1 million. We're still net positive $870,000 tax free.
Wow. That's crazy.
So there's so many options to do, right? There you could contact the insurance company, say, hey, I want to reduce paid up. I don't want to pay anymore. Can you drop my death benefit so I have something to give my kids? I just don't want to pay anymore.
Right.
There's all these options in there, but people just, like you said, give it up because I don't want to pay it. And insurance companies like, yeah, we got another one.
Yeah.
Here's a fun fact for you on that.
Oh, damn.
So get this. Out of all the life insurance sold in America,
right,
the death benefits being paid, only 1% gets paid out when people die because 99% of people are just like you. I don't want it anymore. It's expensive. Let me get rid of it.
Yeah.
So the insurance companies never have to pay the death benefits. They collect the premiums
And
all the year.
they take the $30,000 I gave them over 3
Yep.
years.
And then thank you. We don't have to give your family money when you die now. Thanks for the money. We made millions off of it, billions off of it.
So basically, what you're doing is you're a finance guy, and now you're trying to establish yourself as a TikToker or a YouTuber, right? Like become a guru.
Yes.
Something like that, right?
Yeah, because here's why. Most people that are financial advisors cannot do what we're trying to do because they're boring and they suck and they have no skills and they're not entertaining and they're dorks.
Right.
Or they do things that like, if you have somebody who works for a money management firm, all they want to do is manage money. That's it. Manage money. You don't need anything else. If you work with someone in life insurance is the answer to everything. Don't do anything else.
Right.
If you work for somebody that sells X product, X is the best. Everything else sucks. It's hard to find a comprehensive advisor who does it all. And so what I'm looking at things is most time when I meet with people, I tell them to do things that I can't even do for them. I'm like, just go get an IRA on your own. Like you're just getting started. It's not gonna help you with me doing it for you. But I don't make money on it. Right. And that's why no advisor does it. I just operate differently.
Right.
So I'm looking at it and saying, do I want rich clients? Every advisor wants rich clients, but 95% of people in America are not rich.
Yes.
And they don't have proper guidance to good financial advisors that are going to tell them what they have to do to make money. It is so easy to make money moves over time. There is no getting rich quick. Right. In finance, it doesn't exist. And if it does, it's luck. And I wish I had more luck. I'm in the game to get luck. I buy lotto tickets still because I want to get lucky.
Me too.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, people, I want to win the lotto. Well, when's the last time you bought a ticket?
I was sitting on that couch yesterday and I was manifesting that I hit the lottery.
But think about it, right? How many people, I wish I win the lotto. When's the last time you bought a ticket? I didn't buy a ticket. Well, you're not in the game. How are you going to win the lotto?
I can't believe, Todd, you brought a finance expert that's telling me to play the lotto.
Not only should you play the lotto, you should do sports betting. You should do crypto.
Yeah.
All these jokes don't tell people. That's all a way to make money.
Right.
But if they don't get...
bet.
Yeah.
You what?
Sports bet.
I saw you the other day on Price
like Price Picks, dude. Like there's a great VP player development, Brandon Wooden. He does player development at Price Picks. Super cool dude.
Yeah.
There's a science. I asked him on the All-Star game, hey, if I'm going to do a bet, what do you think some good odds are? He's like, go Curry to win MVP. And I was in Vegas. I couldn't do it at the time because Price Picks is not allowed in Vegas. I'm like, oh, man. Sure enough, Curry got the MVP. I'm like, man, this is a science. This guy knew what was going to happen.
Okay, so we got to just get out there and start gambling.
Here's the thing, right? If you do it
left.
smart and say 1% of my money is going to gambling, 1% is going to crypto, 2%, 5%. If you cover your baseline and allocate money, you should do it all. Like you should literally do it all. But there's financial advisors like, oh, don't do that. It's a waste of money. The talking heads that have never been advisors, that's a waste of money. But buy my course to tell you to fluff, whatever it is, right?
Right.
The industry is filled with jokes because financial advisors that are licensed can't do those things because there's restrictions, right? And people who are on TikTok, they'll regurgitate something, open a Roth IRA on your kids. Technically you can, but not average people can do that. Your kid has to have the ability to earn money. So if your kid's a model, they're earning money, but you just can't open a Roth IRA for your kids.
Can you open a Roth for your kids and then pay your kids?
Yeah, but they're earning money in that situation.
Right.
But what person with a regular job does that? There's nobody telling them, open a Roth IRA and a brokerage account, buy blue chip stocks. This is what blue chip stocks are. This is what the
Blue chip
S&P
stocks
500.
is like NASDAQ.
Blue chip stocks like your Home Depot, your Walmart, your Google, your Apple, your
And
Netflix.
what? And hold on to them for 10
hold
years?
hold on to over 30 years.
30 years, yeah.
Because here's the thing, right? You look at Home Depot stock. 35 years ago, $1,000 is worth $33 million today. $1,000 one time, $33 million. But nobody held on to it. When $1,000 is $5,000, they sell because that's what Jim Cramer said to do, right? Or the podcaster or TikToker sell, take profits. Then the people who held on when 1,000 turned to $10,000, they sold. And the people who really held on when 1,000 was 100, they sold. So very tiny percentage of people hold on to it. But average people can in a Roth IRA, all tax-free gains. But what I tell people is, especially millennial and Gen Zs, because they have time, buy anything you love. If you love Teslas, buy Tesla stock. If you love the Stanley Cups, buy Stanley Black & Decker, right? Anything you love, is it publicly traded? Lululemon, anything you love, buy the stock.
Yeah.
Nvidia didn't do nothing for 20 years.
Yeah.
Nvidia's been, and now it's all the talk, right? It's 22,000% return. But for the first 22 years, it was a dog
Yeah.
of stock. Nobody was buying it then. Yours did. Your boy did.
Yeah, you
But
bought
I
it.
held on to it. The skill isn't knowing what
Because
to
you
buy.
knew that AI was coming.
Well, I didn't know that. I just looked at Apple at the time. It was 2007, and in Apple they were making the graphics cards for Apple, and I'm like, well, Apple's going nowhere. So Intel, AMD, Nvidia was making the chips for Apple. So I'm like, well,
I remember reading that,
Yeah,
like,
so I'm like,
4 or 5
Apple's
years
going
ago.
nowhere. So I might as well freaking buy this Nvidia. I don't know what this is. And so I'm like, I might as well buy it if Apple's using them for their graphics cards and Apple isn't doing it on their own. This is probably a good company to invest in. So the skill isn't knowing what to buy. Do you have the I guess you could say patience to sit on it?
Yeah,
And
I just think a lot of people don't. In other words, if I have Home Depot stock and I put $1,000 in and it gets to 5,000, I think people need that money,
and that's why
and so they take it out.
you're 100% right. But here's the thing: with proper guidance, you'll still have those people. But what if I could say, if I could inspire people to sell 75% and keep 25?
So I'm 51. So what happens for me in 8 years? I at 59.
So 59 and a half, you can take out of your qualified retirement accounts
Yep.
or any retirement account without a 10% early withdrawal penalty.
Oh, with no taxes.
With no
penalties.
no penalty.
Oh.
If it's a traditional 401k or traditional IRA, which is tax deferred. See, a lot of people don't know this. They think it's tax free after 59 and a half. All your tax was deferred. The government gave you your free seed. Here's a little tax deduction while you're working. And when your harvest is plentiful, you owe us whatever your tax rate is on a big amount of money and all the gains. Thank you. So they tax you when you're on your giant harvest. So average people that do the right thing and save money, they don't realize that if they did the right thing for decades, they're going to be making more money not working, thus increasing their tax bracket. See, it's a misconception is when you're retired, you pay less taxes. Yeah, if you're broke.
Right.
Like if you're broke, you pay less taxes because you have no money.
Right.
But if you saved in IRAs, 401ks, mutual funds, ETFs, brokerage accounts, crypto, invested in real estate, acquired passive income, now your debt's paid off, your debt service is done. Now you got the cash flow coming in. If you planned right and you were average, you're going to have more money per year than you did when you were working. So now by virtue of, even if tax rates don't go up, which we're at an 80-year low right now, taxes at 37% federal right now is the lowest it's been in 80 years.
Wow.
Even
If you make over $500,000 a year.
Well, it's a progressive tax system, right? So
Right.
it starts, 10%, 12%, so it goes up with what you make, right? But right now, if you Google, and this is what I tell everybody, highest federal tax rate in U.S. history, they'll Google it.
He knows.
Yep,
What is it?
94%. Yeah, what was it?
Oh, he just told me this on the way to yoga the other day. When was it 94%?
In the 60s. Right?
Right after the Great
40s,
Great
60s.
Depression.
So people that your barons of that time were paying 94%.
Yeah,
People
which is our and not even Barron's highest federal tax rate. Because right now, if you're single in America, the highest 37% tax rate starts around 300 grand of income.
Yeah.
Would you call that a baron? 300 grand in LA is living
So how did
paycheck
that
to paycheck.
work? If I'm right after the depression, I'm doing well. I have to give 94% of my money to the government.
Yep. And then if you look, and this is why I tell people, Google it right now and let me show you this.
Wow.
Google 1970, 71%. So yes, that was a federal tax rate. Today it's 37. We are at historic lows.
Yeah.
In 1950, you'll see Ronald Reagan do a speech. America, we're dropping tax rate down to 50%. Crowds cheering. You can see the clip on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, balloons are going
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Everyone's like, yeah. And he says only 50% federal. That's not including state.
Right. And so then what happened? Is that how we accumulated the debt?
Boom.
Right.
So if you look at right now, we're about 36 trillion in debt. During that time, from like 1930 to 1980, we were relatively at no debt because the government tax rates were so high. Everything was pretty much almost subsidized.
Right.
But if you look in the 80s when Reagan dropped taxes to 50%, that's when you'll see the direct correlation of the national debt start increasing dramatically because there was no more government funding from all this revenue coming in.
Yeah.
And so that's when the equity surged. Then they got rid of the gold standard. Nixon got rid of the gold standard using excess leverage. It used to be money couldn't be leveraged, right? If you borrowed, a bank lent $1, they had to have $1 in reserve because gold backed it. When they got rid of that, they started doing fractional reserve lending, which is today.
Wow.
They have $1 on reserve, they can lend out 10.
That's how I feel. I bought this house because everyone was like, you got to buy, you got to buy, you got to buy. And I spent a lot of money on the house. And now I'm like, why the fuck did I buy this house? I'm like, I could have lived off the interest and just rented an
Yep.
apartment.
And
I have all this money in this house, and I'm like, what am I doing?
it has become, people make it look like a down thing. Oh, you don't own? Well, you don't own either until you finish paying your 30-year mortgage.
That's right. That's right.
When that debt service is done, that's when you show me your deed. The bank has a deed. Stop making payments. Let's see who fucking owns anything.
insane.
Yeah, you don't own anything until it's paid off. And you have all these goons now, right? Oh, passive income's nothing passive. You have these broke jokes talking about passive income. Well, but why don't you put $500 in your savings account? Right, and pay off your credit card debt before you start talking about passive income. It's funny, like average broke people, I call them ballers on budgets, right?
That's me.
Like they're like, let's get passive income, dude. Why don't you just start making more money and making moves before you start talking about passive? What you're saying is you want to make money doing nothing.
All right, I got one for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so here you go. I got a car.
Yep.
All right. I got a car. I bought a car that I really liked. So stupid.
It's never stupid.
I bought a Tesla. I finance it. Okay. The Tesla is $1,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've dropped the prices, right? You can get a Tesla for $300 a
Yeah.
month. Same car.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck in this thing paying off the bank. I think I owe the bank like $40,000. The car is only worth $20,000. What do I do?
Okay, so did you buy it under your business or under yourself?
My accountant writes it off, the payment.
So because it's a lease or a
And I financed it.
CPAs, assassins. CPAs are assassins, okay? They're doing their job. They're trained by the IRS. You think in CPA school there's a how to not pay tax 101?
Yeah.
They're agents of the IRS, okay? They're trained to audit or comply with the IRS tax code.
Call those communists.
Yeah, I call them assassins. Great guys, great girls, great people, right? But it's not their world to not pay taxes. Okay, so here's the thing. If I was involved, I go toe-to-toe, and I'm the undefeated champion going toe-to-toe with CPAs, okay? Because when I show them, like, oh, you're right. I know I'm right.
Yeah.
Like, just look it up. It's IRS tax code. Here it is, IRS, boom, boom, 412E3, boom, done, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Section 179. So when you are a business owner, which majority of people are not, right?
I am.
So average people don't get any benefits by buying or leasing, right?
Right.
So, but a business owner can. Over 6,000 pounds, you could use depreciation to write off against your income, ordinary income. Over 6,000 pounds. That's why most cars, 4Runners, Jeep Grand Cherokees, Tesla Model X, they're like 6,002 pounds,
Yeah.
6,009 pounds.
I see.
They get over the 6,000 pound threshold because when you buy it, you could depreciate it and offset your income.
Okay, so wait, walk me through that.
'Kay.
So how do I depreciate
So
it?
depreciation, and again, everyone's situation is different, right?
Right.
And they change the rules. But let's just say easy math, okay? And thanks to these TikTokers that blew the secret, the government has changed it where you could do like 80% now you could do. You used to be able to do 100, but they got smart. They're like, well, everyone's doing this, buying G-Wagons and depreciating off of income, right? Because these TikTok goons started giving away all our secrets that don't even know what they're talking about.
What does it mean, depreciate?
So this is what depreciation means. Say if you make, we'll use round numbers, okay? You're a business owner in California, successful, you make $1 million,
Sure.
okay? So say if you're gonna, let's just throw that, right? Easy number, right? Because it doesn't apply
Let's say
to
this.
someone who does $100,000
Yeah.
as well, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we'll use somebody that has a good income, okay? $1 million round number, because I don't want to do the math on 500.
Gross or net?
Gross,
Okay,
gross. So gross, and say on $1 million, now you start writing off expenses.
Yep.
Okay. Your studios, your camera equipment,
do
your
that.
fuel, all these things, right? And so if you didn't have expenses, you would pay tax on $1 million. And say that $1 million, your tax rate is 50%. Easy math. You owe $500,000 in taxes.
Yeah.
But now if you write off $100,000 on expenses, on office allowance, on all these things, and you write off $100,000, now your taxable income is $900,000.
Yeah.
So now you pay tax on $900,000, right?
Yep.
So the trick is to find reasonable and ordinary expenses that you write off on your business. Now here comes the depreciation on a car. So say if you need to go to different shoots or you need to go this, it's a business use vehicle. That G-Wagon is, say, $300,000. G63 AMG, I'm not even Mansory or Barabbas. Let's just say regular, okay? $300,000 now on that $1 million. Now you get a $300,000 deduction, depreciation. So you write off $300,000. Now your taxable income is $700,000 plus your other $100,000. Now your taxable income is $600,000. If you didn't get that $300,000 deduction and your taxable income was $900,000, you owe $450,000 in taxes.
Yeah.
But because you wrote off that $350,000, you saved $150,000 in taxes.
Oh, God.
So really, you bought that $300,000 G-Wagon for realized $150,000.
But you can only do that once.
once every 3 to 5 years.
Oh,
And
wow.
if you have
on a new car.
on a new car, and if you have multiple LLCs, each one could do. You get a Sprinter van, you get a Ford Transit to travel, to do your things.
Oh my God.
You could do it multiple times.
What about straight up credit card debt? People paying 27% on credit cards. Do you have any solve
100%
for that?
Yep, there's so many things, man. Good debt is good. Bad debt is stupid.
Okay.
If you have credit card debt because you're trying to impress someone, take them out to dinner, right? You're trying to buy some, I don't know.
Have you seen my wife? She's gorgeous.
Yeah, I no doubt. You're a beautiful man, silver fox, right? First thing I thought, man, this guy's great looking, right? And so
She likes nice. No, she's very cheap. Go ahead.
but
Are you
look-
cheap?
No, heck no.
You're not cheap.
No,
You
no,
don't.
dude.
You don't.
Look at
'cause-
this drip,
look at his
dude. Do you think
bracelet.
this is-
You look great. All right. You're killing it. I didn't know.
This is
I
Tom
thought.
Ford iguana. For those who can't see,
I
this
thought
is Tom
you.
Ford iguana.
What is it?
Tom Ford iguana
Tom
boots.
Ford.
Yeah, iguana boots.
Okay,
And-
all right, all
Yeah,
right, all
you know, this fucking AP it dripped out.
You
man.
would think the finance guy would be like, you know,
if you're a loser,
saving.
if you're a loser and a joke, yeah, that is true. Which 99% of them are. Here's why, right? People of cultural community, we want to floss. We want to live the dream. Anybody without money dreams of being rich. So being rich to me is living rich, having money today, tomorrow, and forever. Only a joke loser moron with no guidance, like save all for the future. What about the journey?
Right.
Like I want to go on the dinners, the restaurants, the
Sure,
trips.
take your girl to a trip.
Take your girl to a
yeah.
trip. Take your guy to a trip, right? Take anything,
my Todd
right?
to a trip.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
Take Toddy out, man. You look at that. This guy's good looking, man.
That's what I'm
No,
saying,
I know,
man.
I
This
know.
guy deserves
We-
all the
we
good
went on a
things in
Take
life,
me to
man.
Europe, dog.
Yeah, man. Look at that
Sell
beard,
that.
dude.
Hey, do you appreciate that fucking
I
chest?
mean,
there?
you can sell the house if you want.
Turn to the side. Look at the side silhouette. Look at that side silhouette.
Take me to
He's got
Europe,
a
man.
beautiful side
Take me to
silhouette,
Europe.
dude. Any guy would be lucky to have him.
Give me my G-Wagon, bitch.
Yeah, dude. Why not?
Should we go buy G-Wagons today?
But here's the thing, right? So you look at this stuff. Money today and tomorrow and forever. That's possible if you take care of your baseline, if you have your IRA, if you have liquid savings, right?
Yeah.
If you have money, you want to buy a house, have a down payment fund, have a fun fund like my APs. I love APs, right? I just picked up a rose gold AP from Vegas. Shout out to my Vegas AD out there.
Yeah.
The team in Vegas, rose gold, black
Is that a
dial.
watch that appreciates in value?
This one, 8 years ago, MSRP was 17.8. MSRP today is around 30,000.
Wow, okay.
Right? But secondary market, about 40, 50 grand. And that's
Okay.
with the down market. When it was hot,
so there you
70,000.
go, there you go.
Right? Everything, if you hold on to it. And that's why I say buy things. You want a fucking pink ring before a wedding ring? Do whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you want, you should buy. And if you could afford it, if you have a plan. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you can't afford this stuff, but that doesn't mean you can't have it. It's all strategy. If you have a plan, maybe it takes you a few years. Like I love Porsches, right? So I buy 911s.
Me too.
And so I have a Porsche fund. My 1% of all my money goes into a fund. I invest it in the market, and then when I have enough money, I go and buy the Porsche. Maybe it's 3 years, maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 7 years, but I'm gonna get what I want with a strategy.
Wow.
So credit card debt, if you have it, it's because you haven't had a strategy.
Yeah.
So if you're paying 27%, this is where average people has a 401k. Borrow from your 401k. You pay yourself back interest. It's like call it a 6%, 7%, whatever the interest is. You borrow up to $50,000 from your 401k.
Yeah.
The interest comes back to you, so it's like your own bank, and you use that to pay back 27% interest because you're using good money.
Did you
interest
follow that,
to
Todd?
yourself?
Yes.
But here's the thing, right?
You explain it to
But
me.
financial advisors are going to say, "Don't do that. It's your retirement, dude, bro. The guy's 25. He's not
Right.
going to make it to retirement. He's going to be broke. You might as well pay off this debt because you're losing 27% to a bank."
So basically, he's like, take your own money,
Yeah.
pay your credit card off, so
Yeah.
you don't pay the interest to the bank, and then so you're going to be good on the credit card, so you start paying yourself back with interest, but you have your own payment plan, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Something
so
like
you
that,
can pay it
right?
off in
Yeah.
5 years. So maybe to your 401k on your paycheck, it pays back $200 a paycheck, whatever the math is, right? And so, but instead of paying 27% interest to a credit card company,
Right.
you're paying back 7% interest to your 401k balance.
I see.
And you could pay it off in 1 year. You could pay it off early. You could pay it off as long as 5 years,
yeah.
but you could borrow from your 401k.
What's a success story that you've had with not with yourself, but with somebody you've helped?
I'll give it a recent one. One of my ex-girlfriends, amazing person, she sent me a text and she's like, "I totally forgot you started this brokerage account for me back in 2006.
Oh, wow.
We put $200 in there. She forgot about it. It started with like the Scott Trade. Scott Trade got sold to another company, to like E-Trade. E-Trade got sold to Charles Schwab. It went through the ringer, right? But her account moved to the next one. And she's like, "I just got a call from Charles Schwab saying, hey, you have this account. There's been no activity in over 10 years.
Wow.
Like, are you aware of it? And she's like, no. She's like, oh yeah, John. And so, and then she texts me and she's like, guess what my account value is? I was
Let me guess.
Guess $200.
14,000.
222,000.
Oh my God! What?
Yep.
What did you put the $200 in?
NVIDIA and Google and Apple.
No way.
Majority in NVIDIA.
What the hell?
But get this. So Fidelity did this study. They said, we want to see what accounts have the highest return. And this is a fact. Everyone can Google this stuff. Okay? It's a known fact. If you leave your money in the S&P 500 ETF, it mostly will outperform 95% of professional money managers. Known fact. Okay? Money managers don't say this. We have a unique proprietary model. No, you don't. You do everything everyone else does. We just want to make it seem like we do something to earn our money because we get paid on our assets and we want them to grow and stay, right? But here's the study that Fidelity did. What accounts have the highest returns? Highest returns accounts were people who forgot their password, people who were dead,
right.
and people who didn't know they had accounts there. Just like my ex-girlfriend.
Real.
Those are the three highest return because there was no activity. They let it ride.
They just
set it and forget it. That is proof that there is nobody who knows what's going on. If that was the case, you think in 07, these people wouldn't have, every financial advisor wouldn't have predicted it and they wouldn't have been rich. They would have predicted these housing crises. Yeah, you have a couple people who say, I called it, blah, 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 right?
Somebody told me, I ran into this guy the other day. He's like, he's a developer around here. He's like, why the fuck would you sell? He's like, the Olympics are coming in 2028 or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, the real estate's going to go crazy. Do you think that's true?
I don't know, right? Do I want it to? Yeah, because I own real estate. If I don't own real estate, I don't want it to.
Right.
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 So.
Oh, I see. Because he's in that market.
And the reality is, like that. Of course. Oh, the stuff you own. Do you want to go up in value? Yeah. Thank you, doctor. Yeah. I wanted to go up in value.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? First of all, I want my realtors rocking Birkin bags. Okay. First and foremost, I don't want them rocking Michael Kors bags. Okay.
Okay.
So 95% of realtors. This is a study that's just done. 95% of realtors rent. Okay. This greatest asset that you got to own. 95% of them rent. Yeah. And so again, when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? So nothing wrong with it. Again, I have friends that are realtors. I'm sure they're great people. Nothing against it. I love real estate. I love real estate because I love to live in it and own it, and I love interior decoration, right? If I happen to make money in it, it's great. Here's the math behind it and what anybody needs to do, because there's not a what's right for everybody. It's what's right for the person, okay?
Yeah.
But I turn to math because I'm not an idiot. $1 million purchase price, 20% down, 200 grand in.
Yep.
Okay. 200 grand down out of pocket, right? You're financing the money over 30 years. You're $1 million in interest. So now $1 million purchase price, $1 million in interest, you're $2 million in. Yeah. Okay. So say if that house is worth $2 million. Yeah. That's a break even, but it's even more because then you had property tax, you had upkeep, you had maintenance. So on a $1 million house over 30 years, it's safe to assume with property tax, upkeep, maintenance, you're at least $2.5 million all in. Okay, so if you're renting it out for $10,000 a month, it's going to take you 25 years
to pay it off,
to break even. So you service debt for 30 years, then you get rent for 25 years. That is 55 years for you to get return of premium. That's your money back. Real estate is great cash flow. That doesn't mean you're making money, though. And you're going to have mortgage brokers, realtors. That's not true. My grandpa got out of the Korean War and bought in South Pasadena for $5 grand and sold for $5 million. Yes, that's true. Different time.
Should I sell my house?
No. Yep. So do a future value calculator. Google it. $200,000. S&P 500 has averaged 8% over the last 30 years. That $200,000 that you put in the down payment into the S&P 500, and again, I don't have my math in front of me, but that's probably over 30 years, one time, 200 grand, $1.6 million. But it only costs you 200 grand in, and it grows to $1.6 million. That's $1.6 million. So that is $1.4 million profit. Passive. That is passive income.
I should have never bought this house.
No, it's not that you shouldn't, right? Because the greatest thing about real estate is you have a permanent place to live and never have to pay rent. So I think that everyone should buy a house because when they no longer work and have an income, now you don't have to worry about paying rent or mortgage. It should be paid off. So now you're living rent free.
When I'm 65 and I sell the house, do I not pay taxes?
No, you do. You excess on capital gains, long-term capital gains. And today,
What's capital gains?
Today, long-term is 15%. But that's today. Remember the old pen is mightier than the sword?
Yeah.
Whoever's administration is in office at that time, they could raise capital gains.
Yeah.
So who knows, right?
Who knows, right?
So, but today it's 15%, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? Real estate, the great thing about it, especially if you want to think about family legacy, if you pass it on to your kids, they get what's called a step up in basis. So say this place is worth $3 million. They inherit it at a $3 million basis. So you can depreciate this off your taxes.
Like the G-Wagon.
Yeah, like the G-Wagon. On a house, you can do accelerated depreciation. Smart, man. Smart and good looking. Right? No wonder why he's a young, hot wife. And so... and smart and good looking and didn't get a COVID check, right? Smart and good looking and didn't get a COVID check. He's bonafide baller. Bonafide baller. No COVID check. Smart and good looking, right? So equals hot spouse, hot wife. And so, so you look at it like this, right? And so you can use accelerated depreciation through cost segregation studies to write off an offset income, whether it's passive or active or passive income. So you can depreciate your income based on
Go back to the
studio.
kids. My kids get the house at $3 million. Go.
Yep. So say if you can take advantage of the depreciation,
Right.
so you're depreciating every year. You might get $15,000 a year for 20 years depreciation off your income, right? If you sold it, they recapture that. Like, well, wait a minute. For 20 years, you wrote off, we'll use these at $10,000 a year and depreciated it. So that's $200,000. We're going to recapture that and they owe money on that, right? You do when you sell it, right? They recapture it. But if you depreciate it, when your kids inherit it, they don't owe any recapture.
Like, do you have an advisor? Like, do you
Yes.
work with a financial advisor?
Yes.
Do they know you have a mortgage on this house?
Yes.
Do they know that?
Oh, yeah.
Have they ever told you to maybe do biweekly mortgages payments?
Todd just told me about that.
Okay, so Todd, the good-looking, fun dude.
Bi-weekly mortgage. What's the advantage of a bi-weekly mortgage?
So prime
So
example.
basically, a bi-weekly mortgage would mean you make 2 payments per month instead of 1.
Yeah, so
Okay.
look at it like this, okay? This is the sine qua non in Latin, without which not, if you will. Okay.
Okay.
The one thing in a system everything depends upon, a foundation, okay? I love my philosophy and rhetoric. So you look at it like this. Nice house. We already talked about the looks and the pretty wife, right? All that stuff. You obviously
Gorgeous.
have a good life, right? we are gorgeous, right? Right. Obviously, you make money to have all those things, okay?
Sure.
Enough to have those things,
Sure.
okay? You have an advisor. You got gold plaques on YouTube here, platinum. I don't know what that is, right?
Worthless.
You're obviously good at what you do. Your advisor, who no disrespect to them, right?
Sure.
They have never told you to do a biweekly mortgage payment because, again, it's not their job, right?
Right.
I do things differently.
got you.
I'm a maniac with this stuff, right?
Got
I'm like the Robin Hood. I want to be a man, profit to the people. I want to be a man of the people.
Right.
The people's person who tells them how to make money moves. Here's what a biweekly mortgage does, okay? Is say if you're paying $4,000 a month mortgage, okay?
Yeah.
That's $48,000 a year.
Yeah.
Mortgage compounds, okay?
Yeah.
If you make 12 payments in a year, $4,000 is $48,000 a year. But if you split that into biweekly payments, now you're paying $2,000 biweekly. So instead of waiting 30 days to start cutting down the interest, it's happening at a quicker frequency.
Oh, so if I pay more frequently, my interest drops?
Yeah, because you're not waiting the 30 days for the monthly payment. You're paying half at 15 days. So on a 30-year loan, it turns it into about a 23-year loan.
Oh, you save
so
7
you
years.
save 7 years and hundreds of $1,000s of interest
Right.
by just paying bi-weekly.
Okay, I got one for you. I saw a TikTok the other day. It's a guy. He lives in the South. Not a poor, not a rich guy. Regular guy. He takes a selfie. He goes, check out this pool. I just put this pool in. Yeah, I put this pool in. It cost me $60,000. He's like, I can't afford this pool. He's like, but we just decided, fuck it. Come and get the pool, man. You can't come and get this
you
pool.
gonna take my fucking pool out
Yeah,
of the fucking ground?
he's like, fuck it. So I'm out here with beers and we're just loving life.
Fucking sick.
And I thought to myself, okay,
Fuck.
what's that?
We gotta live like that, man. Fuck the man.
No, I don't want to do that. I would never do that. But I'm saying, like, can he go to jail?
Well, here's the thing, right? Again, everyone's on their own journeys, right? And everyone has their own moral.
You're so diplomatic.
Everyone has their own moral compass.
Yes,
right?
yes.
But I'm all about people paying their fair share in taxes, but that doesn't mean we have to drastically tip the IRS. Okay? We don't got to leave a huge tip. I'm all about people paying their fair share.
Don't put it on Instagram.
Okay, so but that's true because it's not even a
100%.
gray area. It's
Yeah.
just tax law.
Yeah.
It's just tax code, like depreciation, right? Like putting your kids on payroll.
If somebody's watching this, can they reach out to you?
Yeah, so I'm working on that. Okay, I'm working on that, and here's why: because I'm in a situation, right, where I don't come from money. I love working with rich people, right? They're fun, they're amazing. And this whole thing is I'm a Mexican, 7th generation Angelino, right? It just families from LA originally. This used to be Mexico, believe it or not. You think white people named everything in Spanish, right? Right? So San Diego Los Angeles, right? Like that wasn't named by white dudes, right? That was named by the
Viva la raza, baby.
Yeah, my grandpa. But the thing about white dudes in LA are different, right? White dudes in LA are more Mexican than most Mexican people, right? I don't speak Spanish, dude. I'm a coconut, right? I know the culture, right? I'm brown on the outside, white on the inside. I'm a coconut, right? I don't speak Spanish. All my buddies are white. They speak Spanish, man. We go to Mexico. They're saying, oh, the gringo speaks Spanish. The Mexican kid doesn't. And so LA white dudes are like one of us, right? Like they love tacos and spicy food more than majority of Mexicans, right? Or just white people in general, right? Look at Javier's, prime example, right?
Javier's
one of the hottest Mexican restaurants in the world, caters to rich white people.
Yeah.
Would you like a margarita?
Yes.
I go to.
You want some tagine?
I go to this place, Casita in Sherman Oaks, and Naveen and I think it's so good. We're loving this restaurant. We're going so much. We're going once a week. We think it's so good. We sit next to this Mexican couple, and great couple. We start talking to them, and the woman looks at me and she goes, the food. She goes, it's awful, like that. And I was like, really? I think it's the best thing I've ever eaten. And the husband's like, this is not Mexican food. Like, this is, and it's clearly, it's like, it's in Sherman Oaks.
A little whitewashed.
It's whitewashed. Yeah. I mean, shrimp tacos. I think it's amazing.
And it's like even like you go to Mexico City. You go to where they're mostly not serving up tacos, right?
Right.
So it's very.
There's no mole. There's no.
Yeah, it's very different, right?
You don't get the albondigas here.
But I'll tell you, I love fajitas, man. That's the best. That's like my favorite food.
My guilty pleasure is Del Taco, right?
Yeah,
like, that's my favorite Mexican food, right? It's not if you could even call it that, right? Like, like I love myself some, American Mexican food, right? Yeah. But here's where I was going with that is I'm at this situation or this point in my life where do I like working with rich people? Yes. And my point of that was racism doesn't exist in rich communities. I've lived in them, right? I lived in the country clubs, right? I lived in Newport Beach. If you're neighbors with them, you're all the same.
Yes.
Because you could afford to live there and have the same things, right?
Yeah.
Like when I have nothing gives me more pleasure than when I have an older, gray hair, 65-year-old white guy come up to me, man, that's a sick watch, man. My dream watch. One day I'll be able to afford that, right? I feel really good about that,
it's
right?
It's very interesting class.
It's very interesting, right?
Really interesting.
It's a lower class that are taught.
It's almost more of a class thing.
Yes,
than a race
they're
thing,
taught to be racist to each other, to hold each other back, right?
Yeah.
To give something to complain about, the victim mentality. But you know who has it worse, in my opinion?
Yeah.
Like white people that are broke that live in like trailers, because everyone assumes that they're getting all these advantages, right? Dude, those people have it the worst, man. If you're broke and white, man, you got it bad. Like 8 Mile type Detroit stuff, right? Like, dude, the broke born white person.
It's like Chappelle talks about that. The poor whites,
dude. The broke born
poor
white
whites.
person has it the worst in America, especially now, dude.
Because there's no leeway.
There's no leeway.
No,
Everyone's
it's
like,
like-
fucking privilege. You're privileged. You got this, man.
really
They got
funny.
it the hardest, man. They got a
poor
long
white
journey ahead of them, right? A long journey, dude. And they're gonna be called racist and bigots along the road, right? Like me, I can do anything I want. And people are like, oh yeah, this is poor guy's struggle. I'm a poor guy. Look at this fucking trip, dude. I'm not a poor dude wearing Tom Ford iguana boots, man. Right? Like, but this is, and I say it jokingly, but it's true. Every advisor wants wealthy people because it's easy money, right?
Yeah.
But my heart is, I'm at this place where my heart is, what about the people who aren't rich? Where's their voice? Where's their hero?
You're going against
I'm going against what they're going to tell you to make money, to make rich advisors richer and make companies richer, and to tell people the truth of how maybe that life insurance policy that is meant for rich people or people with a different asset class or different tax bracket isn't right for you.
Well, this goes out on Monday, so let me know if you don't want me to put it out.
No, and dude, because here's the thing: I'm not acting as an advisor here. I'm acting as an entertainer and storyteller.
Yes,
right? My name is Jon Romero. Right. You could find me. My phone number is 213-944-4147, right? My email is jdr996@gmail.com, and that's off the 996 Porsche because that's when I first wanted my 911
Bro, you're gonna get a few prank
GT2.
calls.
Right? I'll get it. I don't get it. I used to be, I'm a 2
Hello?
No.
Fuck her right in the pussy.
No, get this. My area code is 213, right? I've been around since there was a party line.
This is a first on the podcast. You can reach out. You can literally text him.
Yeah, text me.
right now.
Yeah, right now. Yeah. Any pic is solicited. I like laughing. I like having a good time.
Please no nudes. Do not send nudes.
Wait,
John is
hold
not
on. I don't
interested
know.
in that.
I don't know.
No dick pics, guys.
It
And
depends
please
on.
don't prank him.
It depends on how good looking someone is, right, or how funny someone is, right? No, but
All right, John.
I
Thank you
digress.
so
Yeah,
much.
Of course. Yeah, of
You
course,
killed
man.
it.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I was really happy to meet
we're doing
you.
handshake.
I'm not the best at dabbing.
Gotcha.
I was
Like that.
I was at the
Like
Sway House the other day and I had a few failed
Yeah.
dabs.
It's like on the craps table, right?
Yeah.
If you see a guy snap on the craps, that's when you know you're getting in on it, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's throwing that die and snapping at the end. You hop on that table.
Goodbye, guys.
Yeah,
Toddy,
goodbye.
thank you.
Later. Thanks,
All right,
Jay.
we'll see you
Change.
next time.